Hey everybody, my name's Mike Montgomery, and today we're gonna make a DIY heated outdoor sofa on Modern Builds. I built this sofa a couple of months ago, and if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave it linked down in the description. But right now, all I need are these cushions. Then we're gonna head to the workshop. My main goal is to make version 2.0 of our heated outdoor furniture way more super pro than we did on our first try making heated outdoor chairs utilizing pre-made heating pads for jackets and snowsuits. I was doing research online and I found the product that's gonna make this whole elevated version possible, and it is this heated wire right here. When connected to a 5-volt or 12-volt power source, this coated wire warms up. It's the same thing they use to make heated car seats and steering wheels. And I'm thinking that this will work perfect for us. I'll be attaching the heated wire onto this polyester batting that's 0.2 inches thick. My cushions have a starting measurement of 25 inches square, and I'm cutting my batting to 22 inches by 22 inches. This, along with all the other materials and supplies for this project, will be linked in the description below. And the idea is to snake this wire across the batting, but have both of our leads end up on the same corner. After laying it out, I found that a spacing of 2 inches was perfect for my 6-meter long wire. So then I grabbed a thread and some needle, and this is what I'm going to be using to attach the heated wire onto our batting. I should start by saying I basically have zero experience sewing. I'm a lot more of a woodworker and builder, but what I'm doing here is super simple and it worked great. Once I got the heated wire bent and in position, I got my thread and I went around the heated wire 3 times through the batting to make sure everything was secure before tying a double knot on the end and cutting off the excess thread. I'm sure I'm not quite doing this 100% correct, and if there's a specific knot or stitch that I should use on these corners, please let me know. I used sewing pins to anchor the wire to the batting as I snaked my way around, and this helped a lot. My goal was to have this looking as clean as possible, the wires really straight and the corners really square, just in case if any wires end up showing through the cushion covers. But fingers crossed, these wires don't end up showing at all, but we'll see. After I got done snaking the wire across the batting, I came back and I sewed a stitch in the center of all of my wires where I used sewing pins to hold it in place. And then I could remove those pins. This looks great, and now it's time to connect our plug onto the end of these leads. The parts we're gonna need are really simple for this. I'm using these 5.5 by 2.1 millimeter barrel plugs, along with these heat shrink solder seal wire connectors. This wire is basically just making one big loop, so I connected one end to the red and the other to the black wire. These connectors are really cool because they've got heat shrink to make them waterproof, and then solder in the middle that melts when you use the heat gun, making this connection really strong. I cut a second piece of batting, and this is going to be our top layer that we attach with spray adhesive to the one that we attached all of our wires to. This top piece of batting should help keep the wires in place and keep this whole thing invisible once it's in the cover. This seems super legit, and all I've got to do is make 3 more this size. You guys know this process, so I really only want to focus on the things that I did different on a couple of these pads. They're all cut to the same size and the lines are laid out the same way, but on this second pad, I decided that I was just gonna keep the safety pins in the center of each row and see how clean everything looked and how sturdy it was if I added a top layer of batting, sandwiching it with that spray adhesive. And it ended up working great. Everything looked really clean. So after that success, I wanted to see what would happen if I did one of these heating pads only using the sewing pins, not stitching it with thread at all. This spray adhesive is crazy strong if you give it a minute to dry before attaching your 2 layers together. I have a suspicion this wire isn't going anywhere, but in the future, if I ever have one of these heating pads mess up where the wires get out of alignment, I'll make sure and leave a pinned comment. And it might not be as heavy duty long term, but saving an hour using the safety pin method over stitching might be worth it. Now I'm gonna get my cover and we're gonna make some alterations to it, starting with an internal pocket that the heating pad is gonna slide into. The pocket will be on the top of the cushion inside of the cover. I found a pretty good price on a similar shade of duck canvas on Amazon, and I cut this piece for the pocket so that it fits just inside of the stitching on the cover. And this two-sided iron-on fabric adhesive is what I'm using to connect this pocket to the cushion cover. The heat from the clothes iron activates the adhesive on this tape, and then you peel the paper away once it's adhered to one of the substrates. Then you can take it to the other piece that you're wanting to adhere it to and reactivate the glue with the iron, connecting the two pieces together. This stuff is also called hem tape. Now it's time to test to see if this pocket worked. I slid the heating pad in, and it wasn't too tough, but this gives us a sneak peek of how things are eventually gonna look, and I'm not seeing any wires so far. But now let's worry about that wire and plug. I used a grommet tool set to install 1/2-inch grommets where I want the wire and plug to feed out of the cushion cover. It'll also prevent the cloth from the cover tearing. Awesome. This is really clean. Now I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to slide this cushion in and everything looks nice without too many wires showing. The covers and cushions were already pretty tight. That's why I went with the thin batting, and I was able to get it to close. This wire outfeed is so clean, and I don't really see any wires at all. This was super motivating. I was really happy to see this result. I ran out of green, so I used khaki canvas on my last couple of pockets, and I wanted to show using this 2x4 on the inside of the cushion cover while I was ironing. It really helped me be able to press down on the material, getting a lot stronger bond. And on my last cushion, I installed the grommet on the other side of the cushion cover. That way when it's in the sofa, you won't see the zipper from the side. I also installed these grommets the correct way, where the outside of the grommet is on the outside of the cushion cover. So far, this project was going surprisingly well. The heating pad hides in the cushion cover really well. This is definitely a huge improvement on version 1.0. That's cushions complete. Next step, we're heading back to the back deck to work on the electronics. But first, I want to give a big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's episode. Building your own website or online store has never been easier with Squarespace's design intelligence and Blueprint AI, Squarespace's next generation AI-enhanced website builder. Just tell Squarespace a little bit about your brand and the website you want to create, and you get a custom design template suited to your brand or business. And with awesome features like Squarespace's SEO integration, you can get found more often on search engines. Squarespace does all the back-end work to make sure that you show up more often, leading to more clients. And with Squarespace Invoices, you can impress those clients with on-brand invoices and streamline your workflow from proposals to contracts to invoice and seamless online payments all in one place. And finally, with Squarespace email campaigns, you've got all the tools you need to engage your clients, promote your services, and build your business built in. So to learn more, make sure and follow my link down in the description. That's squarespace.com/modernbuilds. And don't forget to use my code ModernBuilds for 10% off your first site, store, or domain through Squarespace. Now let's get back to it. To power the sofa, I'm gonna be using this adjustable 5-amp 3 to 12 volt power supply. I started by drilling out a hole for a 12-volt button that's gonna install in the frame of the sofa. My cutout was a little bit messy, but I used a washer painted black to cover up any damaged wood. I used the spliced wire from our test earlier to connect our cushions. I attached a female 5.5 by 2.1 barrel plug to the ends of each wire feeding one of our seat cushions. And you don't have to, but I twisted the ends of my wires together before using the heat shrink solder seal connectors. The red lines in the heat shrink is glue, so I really feel like these aren't going anywhere. It helped to have the cushions in place to know how long of a lead I would need for each wire. And it was cool, on the first 2 cushions, I could use the wires that were already on the pre-made unit. With the wire attached to the plug, they were long enough to reach. But for the last 2 cushions, I needed to extend that wire, and I used 18 gauge 2-conductor wire for this. And I made sure to give myself a little extra slack. On one side, I connected the black wire to the black and the white one to the red to keep things organized, and I did the same on the other end with the barrel plug. And down in the description box, I'll leave a link to a waterproof outdoor connector rated for the same voltage that I recently found out about after installing these. Now we've got the wires going to the cushions, so we need to get the power to the unit. To do that, I'm using some Forstner bits to create some recesses in a through hole for a USB-C pass-through. These are made mostly for electronics, so it's really not made for 1.5" thick material like this, but I got it to work. You could also use a barrel plug pass-through. After that, I cut off the button from the electronics on my spliced wire, and then I fed that to where my button goes. I wired this up according to the diagram I've got on the screen so that the light is off when the sofa's off, but when I turn on the heat, the light turns red. And I used some hot glue to attach this to the frame. And with a chisel, it cleaned up pretty well. And now on the inside of the sofa, I could plug the button into our power source, which is the through port, using this USB-C adapter. And this is where I wish I bought a barrel plug through port, because I also had to use a 100-watt USB-C adapter for our power supply. And now finally, we should be able to power it up. Let's go! I am legit so excited right now. I can feel it heating up. I'm gonna give this a couple minutes and then get my thermal camera. I think it's so awesome being able to see the heated wire through the thermal camera, and even cooler that you can't see the heated wire with the naked eye. And check out the amount of heat that was able to build up by leaving the back cushions on the heating elements for just a couple minutes. And after I sat here for about 5 minutes, there was a lot of heat on these cushions. I'm looking forward to using this on cold desert nights, a big improvement on Heated Furniture 1.0. And before too long, I should upgrade that spliced wire to some of this thicker 18 gauge. And then I'd be technically done. I am just so hyped that this works. If there's anything different you all would do, let me know down in the comments below. As always, make sure and like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Modern Builds. Bye, everybody.